You're listening to BS the podcast with
Benny Philhauer and Sal Zizzo. Enjoy.
Aaron, just give me a chance, dude. Somebody
Dude, honestly,
give me a
Benny,
chance.
in the open space, you got no chance. In the big fields, you just got no chance.
If you knew this guy's accent.
tomorrow.
No.
Aaron, how could you do this?
He was not happy.
Welcome back to BS the podcast. We are on our, eighth? I honestly literally forget every time, Sal, but I think we're on the eighth episode now.
8th episode. I forgot last time, so
We're close to 10. We're just gonna keep talking about it every time. But we are back. Benny here with my co-host Sal Zizzo. And who do we got today?
We got my buddy and your friend as well, Aaron Long. We're gonna talk about his path to being a professional soccer player, and his rise through the ranks from basically being cut from Portland all the way to his success at Red Bulls. And then we're going to also get into maybe his he's had a lot of interest overseas, so we're going to kind of tap into that a little bit. And he's also a bit of a prankster, so we're going to hear some stories from him about that as well.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good interview. We're excited to have him on the show. Ike will be joining us for little tidbits here and there as well during the episode. And I think, honestly, it's time for our producer, Nino. He needs, I'm going to be forceful with him at this point. We got to add him to the logo at least.
Yes, definitely. I'm okay with that.
All right, so let's get Aaron on the show. And we're here with Aaron Long of the New York Red Bulls. Thanks for coming on the show, Aaron.
Yeah, of course. What's up, guys?
Sal's taking a sip of water, so he can't talk yet. Sal, you going to talk?
I'm good. Yeah, Aaron, you're a tough interview. You haven't been interviewed by too many people.
No, I've been told I'm the worst, actually, so I hope this is terrible content for you guys.
Okay,
It will
perfect.
be. Our ratings have been
listeners will
sky
enjoy
high.
it.
We'll see, how you can turn them upside down.
I'll just drop them real quick for you guys.
All right, Aaron, I'm going to get right into it. We wanted to do this interview yesterday, but you were stuck in the airport for how long after your Orlando game, which, by the way, you guys won on the road. Great game, great performance, a lot of guts. They hit the post 6 times. You're trying to get back home. What happened?
Probably just the worst travel day in history. I mean, I think we were supposed to take off at 11, so we got the airport around 9:30, and then we ended up leaving the airport at, I think, 9:30 p.m. to go back to the hotel.
So you stayed the whole day at the airport. This was the game was on Sunday night?
Game was Sunday night, yep.
So then this was Monday the whole day.
Yes, Monday the whole day.
So you'll go back to the to the hotel, and then, so what do you do the next day?
Then we slept in, and then we took a charter today. But, I mean, to get delayed, 7 times. Tim Parker had a crazy Twitter storm going on. He was, DMing the people from United, and they were trying to give him updates on our flights and stuff. It was insane. Sending us free vouchers so he could shut up on Twitter. It was amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys got some quality chips for all of your troubles.
Yeah.
Was it weather related? Was it?
Yeah. I think it was weather here in Newark, and then Newark shut down, then Orlando's huge storm was coming in, so it was kind of like both sides of the table there.
Was there a lot of card playing going on, or did that end when
There was
Sasha
a
and
little
I
bit of
left?
Mafia playing, actually.
Was there? I was
Wow.
actually going to bring Mafia up. That's like your favorite game of all time. Actually,
So
I started
good, man.
playing that at Kansas City, Benny and Ike, and I brought that to Red Bull, and they love it. They do-
Really?
Did you guys still do it in preseason or no?
Yeah, it's kind of like the icebreaker of preseason. for
Yeah,
the new guys.
it is. It's a very good icebreaker.
It's
if,
so
if
good,
you
man.
if you guys listeners don't know what that is, look it up. Mafia. It's a great game. Great party game.
The best.
Yeah, it is. I
best
didn't know
you
that.
can
I didn't know
buy.
that you brought that over there, Sal. I remember us playing it
Yeah.
here, so I thought it was just maybe random that
No,
they
we-
knew
we
about it as
brought-
well.
I brought it there, and we took it to another level. There was some intense matches. I recall one with, I think it was Connor Lade had to decide between 2 people, and one of them was in the Mafia and one wasn't. And it was Sasha, and I don't know if you remember this, Aaron. I can't remember who the last guy was.
I don't know. Maybe
I-
Gorilla?
No, I don't
Bro,
think it was. But
the o-
anyways,
not everybody
it was-
knows what this game is that's listening to it, but you find out real quickly who the sneaky
Yeah.
effers are on your team.
Yeah.
Who the
Well,
snakes are.
basically, Sasha was pleading that he wasn't. Connor didn't believe him, and Sasha was crushed. And Connor was even in worse mood, like apologizing to Sasha. I'm so sorry, man. I thought it was really you. I thought it
You
was
can
you.
lose trust in a teammate so fast. It's the best, man.
Hey, a little tidbit from me and Aaron, by the way. Aaron has been playing pickup soccer off season with me for the last 2 or 3 seasons. This
Absolutely destroying Benny. when
This
he's-
guy
he's
has
coming in
never
fat.
gotten the better of me one time.
You claimed that on the Walker podcast, didn't you? You said, ask Aaron Long about how I've been, whatever, beating him down in pickup, and I swear by it. So this is your chance.
No,
Aaron,
there
tell
was
him the
one
truth,
play.
dude. Tell him
and
the truth.
Benny, what did you say after that play? You're like, a guy with your awkward size could never guard me or something stupid like that.
That sounds like something that could have come out of my mouth.
Wait.
Your awkward legs, you could never stop and
No, dude.
stop
What
and
I
go
what
as
I
fast
did
as me or
was
something
so Aaron
stupid like
Long
that.
is one of the most athletic center backs in the league. We can ask Ike for his expert opinion on that. Him being a very athletic center back as well. But I consider Aaron one of the more athletic center backs in the league. So how can a little small kind of awkward shaped midfielder do to dribble a guy like that? You got
Pear shaped.
Thanks, Al. You got to let his athleticism work against him, dude, and that's
That's
all I did.
what it was. That's
Put him
what
on
it
skates.
was,
He was
bro.
slide tackling all over the place, and one too many times you got slid tackle past me, and I just walked on by.
Aaron,
That's
do
what
you
you
do
said,
you drive
I
home
remember.
from? Do you drive to those pickups from Barstow? Like where? I
Here
mean, I
we go
know
with
where.
that.
Did,
Here we go. With
where? Let's tell the listeners where you grew up. Let's hear
that.
it.
Victorville, Hesperia,
Hesperia, which
High
is
Desert.
that's far, man. Benny? Have you ever driven from L.A. to Vegas? I'm sure you have many times.
Bro, I don't know where Hesperia is. That what it's called, Hesperia?
Yeah.
Yes,
But I lived in Cucamonga last year.
that's where
That's
That's
close,
where
Aaron
right?
Cucamonga.
claims he's from.
Because people don't know where the high desert is, so I gotta claim Cucamonga.
Isn't it pretty close to Cucamonga though?
Yeah, like 30 minutes, 25.
30 minutes from in which direction?
Take the 15 north.
So you're further
Middle of nowhere.
than
Yeah.
Cucamonga. Oh dang, yeah, that is far. 30 minutes. So
Yeah.
you really are in Barstow. That's close to Barstow then.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah, so
still
you're-
like
he could claim
45 minutes
Barstow
from
over
Barstow.
Cucamonga.
No,
Sal, he's
don't.
kind of close to where you are.
Yeah, actually, probably.
Wait, Benny, did you ever tell Aaron that you believe that you could be a starting center back in the MLS?
I still believe that.
Oh, God, you're so ridiculous.
Oh
Here we
wait,
go
I don't
with
mean
that.
like a starting center back like day in day out, but I can play I can play as a center back and do well enough to
In
No.
possession, yes. In
No.
possession.
No.
Yes, only in possession.
I
Not even that.
Benny, I'll tell you firsthand, I thought the same thing, bro. And then Aaron and me played in a back four in Kansas City, and it didn't go well. I'm telling you.
Did not go well.
I remember
Harder
that.
than
But
you
Sal,
think.
I'm sorry, but I could do it.
Wait, Benny, remember the Red Bull game
Benny,
in
how are you going to contest
2016?
for headers? You don't. How many headers do you have?
I don't
per
need
season?
to contest
Curious.
for headers, dude.
He
I
just
do
reads
not
the
need to-
game.
Okay,
Just
okay, so
Maldini
then-
reading the
so-
game. Get
So
outta
a
here,
ball
man.
gets crossed in the box. What are you going to do, bro?
All right,
You're just going to
so-
let them.
Let me just ask
Challenge
you
on-
this then. Let me just ask you this. This is my counter to that. So then no center back in our league can play against Zlatan because he's taller than everybody.
No, but at least they can body Zlatan. At least to an
Okay, so
extent.
I can body anybody else too. Maybe not Zlatan, but anybody else.
Josie?
I can body
Oh, yeah,
them.
you
I
can
might not
body
win the
Josie.
header.
Ike,
You can
Ike,
body
how am
Josie
I the
on
only
live.
one arguing?
Dude,
Aaron, step in here.
because
Come on,
I've
let's
had,
put
I've
this
had
guy's
this argument for
dreams
3
to-
years, and it's been absurd. So before Aaron gets his point in, remember Cam Porter, one of the best practice players we ever had in Kansas City, would absolutely beast us. And you'd look at us and be like, why can't you guys stop this guy? Blah, blah, blah. You
That's because he kicked you guys.
You played him in the pickup or in small side. You played center back against him, and he was roasting you. And then you said,
Bro.
man, after the practice, you said, man, I now know what you're talking about.
No, I didn't say that. Okay, Aaron.
Yes, you did.
Aaron, you've seen me in these pickup games, and sometimes I play deeper. What are your honest observations?
This is what's gonna happen. Benny's gonna use their athleticism against them. That's what's gonna happen. Somehow he's gonna use their athleticism against them.
Aaron,
He'll win
just
the
give
battle.
me a chance, dude.
Dude,
Somebody
honestly,
give me a
Benny,
chance.
in the open space, you got no chance. In a big field, you just got no chance.
Yeah, an athletic person would say something like that. Oh, in the open space, because I can cover so much ground. It's all up here,
Then
boys.
If you don't have the ball, what are you gonna do, bro?
I don't need the ball. I can read the game.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah, you
organize
can read the game,
defense?
great.
Can
But
you
what's
organize
gonna happen
anyway?
when it gets to a? I mean, like, bro, I'm telling you, it's
I'm
a lot
not
harder
happy
than you
about
think.
this part of the interview right here. First of all, I'm not getting interviewed, and I need to be given an opportunity before you guys all just.
All right,
you know,
well,
You had one for 10 minutes.
No, I didn't.
In 2016, when we played Down a Man, and then you were so shocking that they subbed an EPB.
I was so shocking that I gave up no goals while down a man. BWP, the best forward in the last 10 years in MLS, couldn't score on me.
Yeah,
Here we
okay,
go.
all right, just move on.
When was this?
you played center back
This
against
was
us?
2016.
Oh, okay.
I was still
I
Red
was
Bull
there.
too back
How,
then.
when did,
We're
when
50.
did
Yeah,
you
all right,
guys go down
let's
a man?
move on, dude. People are
Before
going to
my
be turning
time.
off the pod at this point.
Aaron, I don't know if you know this, but when we were at Red Bulls, when you had just signed with the USL Red Bulls, Jesse, I was having a talk with Jesse, and he was asking me what I thought of you, and I basically said, dude, he's great, blah, 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 blah. So I was a huge fan of you coming into that preseason. I think it was between you and who was the last guy that made it over you that year?
Zach Carroll?
Zach Carroll, yeah. So he made it over you because he was a draft pick. And, yeah, man, you tore it up on USL too. I mean, you and Tyler Adams, you guys would always scrimmage us that year, and it was always a pretty close game. I think
was
you guys
so
got
fun, actually.
more pumped in those games than you did in actual USL
It
games.
was the best, bro. I could just talk shit to Brad the whole time.
Bro,
Got it
Sal,
right.
Like,
riled
who
up.
is this guy?
Sal, I feel like your question that you've always talked about with how the national team plays would be a great one for Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron. Dude, so yeah, that is a good question. Aaron, if the national team played Red Bull style soccer, would they be, more successful than, I guess you guys were pretty successful in the Gold Cup, and it's still a process with Berhalter, but
I feel just like, is it a system that would work based on the players that you guys have, you think?
Yes, for sure. Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the national team's so young and athletic right now, it could definitely work. The only, I don't want to say the only problem, but it's so hard to have a complex system defensively like that when you don't have a lot of time together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A press like the Red Bulls takes so long to work in, but then again, at the same time, I feel like Berhalter's tactics are super complex with the ball, and we somehow figure out a way to do that. So, but yeah, I think with Tyler and Weston in the middle, I mean, these guys could cover so much ground, man. It'd be really good, really good.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and then you have you in the back, you have Walker, you have Matt Miazga. There's guys that I feel like, are up and coming as well that are athletic guys, and the outside backs are athletic. Yeah, I agree with you, Sal, that there is some real truth to, if you guys tried to find that system, and maybe you can like incorporate it also with, Greg's was a really good coach in Columbus, and everything that he tried to get working there, fit. And so it's all about with the national team. You can't, like we've talked about this before, you can't go and just pay someone to be, on your national team. You can't go buy a player. So you got to do with the players that you have. And I do agree with Sal that I think that system could work based on the athleticism of the group.
Yeah, for sure.
Aaron, let's talk. So, obviously, going back a little bit. So, you went to college at UC Riverside. A bit of an unknown, right? I mean, you
The
don't
college
see
or
too
me?
many-
Or both,
well,
I
you
guess.
at the time. Both, I guess,
Yeah.
yeah. And then you got drafted by Portland. Probably, I think it was only the second player ever drafted out of UC Riverside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who was the
Maybe
first?
the first. I'm not sure.
Trivia.
Aaron,
Who was the first?
I can't even remember. I don't
Maybe
even
Cesar
know. but-
Diaz.
Yeah.
I don't know if he got drafted though. Oh, actually, Jose Diaz got drafted to
Diaz.
Chivas USA, and then they never even brought him in the preseason. First time in history that a player that gets drafted didn't get allowed into preseason.
Oh, there you go. Little
Sweet.
nugget on the Benny.
A little
On the
tidbit.
BS podcast, yeah. So you go to Portland. Did you get released after 6 months?
Yep.
So talk about kind of those 6 months. What was going on through your head, and then you signed with Seattle, played with their second team, and you were playing center mid at the time. But like, what kind of was going on through your head? Did you question your ability, or what was going on?
Yeah, that first 6 months was so crazy, man. I mean, making the jump from college to pro already is a huge jump, and then to go into a new environment, and to be going to Portland, who was amazing the year before. They made it to the conference finals that year. That was, I think, Caleb's first year with the team, and it was called like Porter
It was
Ball.
right
and
after I
the-
left.
Yeah, the city was so juiced, and everyone's like, dude, Portland's gonna be amazing. Like, you're gonna love it. The team is amazing. The coach is amazing. And then I get there, and I think we went winless in the first 8 games or 9 games. And I mean, obviously, when the team's not winning, the locker room's bad. It's so tense. The coaching staff was super tense. It was just a hard time to be a rookie. You know, it was like, I don't know, is this
Yeah.
what all pro teams are like? Like, why are we losing? I'm not playing at the time, but it was super, super tense, man. Like all around the locker room.
And knowing
and then-
Portland at that time, it's not easy. It wasn't easy for young players to get integrated. I mean,
Yeah, for sure. for
they
sure.
would get
So it
crushed on
was,
multiple
yeah, it was already
occasions.
hard to get integrated in trainings and stuff, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was such a hard 6 months, man. And I'm getting loaned out, and then I get let go because they need to bring in new players because they're not winning games. And then of course they're gonna cut the fat real quick, and I was one of the rookies that got let go.
And you were playing center mid at the time?
Yeah, I was center mid for them and for Seattle.
And did you ever think at that time at all about playing center back? Was that like in your head, like I could do this, or was it just
No, honestly, it wasn't at all.
no?
Not at that point. I think it was way like once I got to Seattle and I started playing games with Seattle too, and I was bouncing around all over. And then Ziggy came up to me. He's like, "Listen, I see you like Brad Evans. You know, I can kind of slot him anywhere on the field for us, center mid, right back, left back. You can play on the wing." He's like, "I see the same thing with you at Seattle too. You know, I think you should try to model your game after him if you want to get into the first team, and you could be that guy for us." And then that's when I really started to open my mind to other positions.
Okay. And did you, after you got cut from Portland, did you immediately go to Seattle and they signed you, or how did that kind of go down?
Yeah, so Seattle wanted to draft me. I went to their
Okay.
pre-combine, so they were familiar with me already. So I think it was within a week I went there on trial, and I got signed. And immediately was the Open Cup. The first game I was a part of with Seattle was Open Cup against Portland at home at Starfire. So
Oh,
it
wow.
was like right into it. Then they're doing the national anthem. The players are like looking at me on the bench with a Seattle polo on now.
Like
Like
were
in
they
the
asking
stands.
like, wasn't this guy on our team?
Yeah,
What's
they
his
don't
name
even know-
again?
Half of them don't even know who I am, probably, because I was on loan half the time. They're like, "Wait, is that him? What's going on? Is he on their team now?" Like, yeah, it was crazy.
Okay. And so then Seattle let you go at the end of not that year but the next year, or how did that go down?
I went into preseason with them, and then they signed me to the second team. They're like, "Listen, you haven't had games in a year now," because there was no 2 teams at the time. My rookie year, there was no Seattle 2. Or
Oh yeah,
Portland 2.
you're right.
So the next year, they're like, "Listen, we're going to start this new thing with Seattle 2. You haven't had games in a year. We need to get you games. We think it'd be good for you to go on the second team and get a year under your belt."
Okay.
So you played
And-
the whole
and-
year with Seattle too that year?
Yep.
And that was 2015. Wasn't that 2016? Or no?
I don't know.
That was 2015.
Yeah, that was 2015.
Yep.
15.
Yeah.
So then what brought you after that? Like, could you have stayed at Seattle? What brought you to, New York for that next preseason?
So at the end of that year, I went into my meeting and they're like, "Listen, we really like you. We want you to be the captain of the second team next year. Increase your pay. But we see you going back with the second team next year, and we're not thinking about bringing you into preseason with the first team," which is what I really wanted, was another preseason with the first team and a chance to make the roster. So at that point, I told them I would let them know. I really wanted to have a first team preseason, and my agent was going to keep looking at other MLS teams. And then he reached out to Jesse, and Jesse's like, "Yeah, we'll let him come to preseason with the first team, but the only way we're going to let him come is if he plays center back." Like, no ifs, ands, or buts.
So
We're not
he
gonna play
already
him center mid at all.
already saw that in you.
Yeah, it was
That's-
predetermined that if I went there, I was a center back. I couldn't play center mid at all. So
Was it also
And the fir-
because
the
you
fir-
guys- I was saying, was it also because you guys were low on center backs at that time as well, or he actually thought that was a position for you?
I don't
Or
think
both?
they were low at the time. I
Okay.
think that's when they had, who'd they have, Sal? That you
No,
guys had.
I think it might have been a little. I mean, I think Miazga had just left, so I think they were trying to find that like fourth center back at the time.
But they just signed Gideon as well.
Yeah, but wasn't that later a little bit in preseason?
Maybe it was.
I think it was a little bit later in preseason. We
Yeah,
signed
maybe they
Gideon.
were a little. Maybe they were a little
Yeah.
slim.
In that offseason, did you have a conversation with Jesse or only once you were in camp?
Only once I was in camp. But my agent and Jesse are close, and it was very, very well laid out. Like, listen,
Yeah.
if he comes, don't tell him. Like, tell him right now he's not going to play any center mid. Don't ask. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
Well, at
and
least
so-
I mean he laid it out there. I'd rather someone be honest with me and straightforward than you go in and you expect something and then you don't know what's coming to you.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
That's
so
one of
Aaron, you
Jesse's
get
best
you get
qualities.
to camp. You do pretty well in preseason. I mean, you integrated with the team well. You knew a lot of us. What conversation did he have at the end of preseason when he basically said, "Hey, we want you, but we want you on Red Bull too"? Did he show you a path to the first team from there?
Kind of. He was like, listen, we see you with more potential than some of the guys that are on our first team right now as a center back. And he's like, I know that's hard to hear when I'm going to sign you to a second team contract. He's like, but you got to trust me that I see so much potential in you, and I think you just need a little bit of time at this position. It's so new to you.
Okay.
Dude, and,
Yeah,
I mean,
I think-
I think Jesse first is a pretty honest guy from the little conversations that I've had with him. He was with the national team with Bob a little bit as well towards the end, and he's always pretty straightforward. And I feel like knowing what I know now about Red Bulls in terms of how they've grown from the young players on their academy and second team and all that stuff. I mean, I think he was being honest and probably saw something in you that he knew you were going to be something, maybe not right then and there, but in a few months or in a year.
No, he was for sure. He's a straight shooter. I think that's what everyone that comes across him can say about him for sure. It's one of his better qualities. But at the time, I didn't know him as well. I know him as
Yeah.
a coach, but I don't know if he's lying to me. If he just wants me on his second team as a good player.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I went back to my agent like, listen, I don't know if I should stay here. Minnesota wanted me at the time to come into their preseason, and if I did well, they would sign me to a 2-year deal, and then I could be with the MLS the upcoming year, which is all I wanted. And he's like, I don't know, man. I know Jesse personally. He's an honest guy. If he didn't like you, he would tell you right away. I think you should stay. Like if he's telling you he sees potential in you, you got to trust him. Like he wouldn't tell you
That's
that if
good.
he didn't believe it. So
It's good that you listened. Obviously, Red Bull, I mean, you guys can chime in on this, but I think they integrate the Red Bull 2 the best out of any team in the league. I mean, they can bring, I feel like, a player that has no name, going in playing for Red Bull 2, and all of a sudden he's getting first team minutes and scoring goals. And I mean, there's tons of examples, right? I mean, this guy Barlow this year, like out of nowhere, right?
Barlow
Played
Brian
a few
White,
games for you
same
guys.
thing.
Brian White, like, Derek Etienne started with the second team. You, Tyler Adams, like I can kind of go on a few more guys, but it's pretty crazy if you think about all the guys that have come from that Red Bull 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's true, man. But it starts at training. It starts with the culture. Like the amount of, Sal, the amount of
Yeah.
academy guys and second team guys that train
Yeah.
with us on a daily basis is crazy. But
Yeah. Look, Vince Bezecourt, Florian. I mean, like all these guys came, like Florian came from like a random college that I don't even know about. Like
Ryder,
just
yeah.
started training with us, and like wasn't like amazing, but just like kept letting them train with us, like kept gaining more confidence, and that's the thing too. I think they give these young guys a lot of confidence. They don't just go in there and like crush these young guys for, like trying to do things or trying to learn the system. They really try to teach it to them, and they build them up a little bit, and then obviously they get rewarded. So it's a really good system they have.
it is.
Yeah, it's good. No, I think there's just some other clubs that do it well, but obviously you were there and you guys have have felt that firsthand, and so it's pretty impressive. Like you said, the names that you just started listing off, so many guys that have played in the second team and academies and all that stuff, and so I mean a lot of really good players on the first team now, and then like you said, some guys that have even gone overseas, like Tyler Adams, and are playing at even bigger clubs and bigger stages now, and so many. And what is it? You, Tyler? Is there any other guys that have made the national team recently?
Matt Miazga.
Miazga.
Yeah.
There's other
They didn't
guys that
have
are on
any
other
second team
national
was
teams
with-
as well.
With New York, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
no, they've done a good job. And then the just on a lighter note, through to that whole story, I think that you love to see a midfielder being able to play center back. I think that's something that is that I think.
Dude, if I could do it, you could do it, Benny. You got it, bro.
Actually, to flip this, Aaron, do you think you could play center back in the MLS or center mid? Sorry.
Oh man. For so long, even when I was at Red Bulls, remember I was telling you guys like, watch,
Yeah.
I'll get one game
I'll tell
at
you
the
what,
six,
your
and
passing
I'll tear it up.
skills is very underrated. You're a good passer of the ball.
I
You
get
just
one
don't
game
show
at
it
the
off.
6. I'll just break up everything. I'll just keep it simple.
I
But
feel like
don't know,
I
man.
feel like I'm
It's
looking at
leaving
myself
me
in the
every
mirror
year.
right now,
The 6
Aaron.
leaves me a little bit more.
Aaron, did you hear me? I feel
No.
like I'm looking at myself in the mirror right now.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Just give me one chance, dude.
Give me one chance.
Yeah, okay.
No, it's leaving
Who's
me
gonna be
every
that
year. The
coach?
6 leaves me a little more.
Who's gonna be your Jesse?
That's
Getting
good.
a little
Aaron,
fatter.
I think you've owned that new spot of yours, so I think you're at home now.
Yep,
Aaron,
definitely.
you also were a bit of a, you're known to be a little bit of a prankster within a locker room. Can you give me your best story of how you've pranked a player? I've heard some to, chickens being dropped in people's rooms.
No, that was the prank against me at the end of the year. That was a full
okay.
team pranking me for what I did to them throughout the year.
Well, talk about that, and then talk about what you did to Vince's hair. That'd be a good one too.
All right. Yeah. So, actually, Bonomo just sent me on Snapchat like the whole feed of it, and it was this week of like 3 years ago or whatever.
Oh,
so
nice little anniversary.
I bought bleach contents for bleach his hair obviously, and then I bought light brown dye. And I was like, hey, let me dye your hair just light brown. He's like, oh, yeah, this would be cool, This
He's
would be
French,
nice.
so he was really pumped for
For the
it.
summer, just a little bit lighter brown. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And I switched the contents. And he's like, listen, do not bleach my hair. Because I've been trying to bleach his hair. And he's like, do not bleach my hair. And I was like, dude, look, it's light brown. It says it right here. And he's like, my parents come tomorrow. My brother comes tomorrow. I haven't seen him in like a year and a half. Do not bleach my hair. I was like, dude, I promise you I won't. So I cut his hair. At Red Bull 2, I would cut a lot of the guys' hair. And he would cut my hair. So I cut his hair, and then I put all the bleach in his hair. And then we switch sides. He starts cutting my hair, and everyone's outside, like we always are. And as he's cutting my hair, his hair is just slowly just turning like oranger and yellower. And it's like 30 minutes, like, yeah, get a little bit more here. I'm taking my time, like making him go over and over and over. And we go in the house, and he goes to wash it out, and he just freaks out, man. Just blonde hair.
If you knew this guy's accent.
Tomorrow. No.
Evan, how could you do this?
Yeah, he was not happy.
Man.
And then he would come to training the next day, and everyone was just like, "Oh, nice hair, Vince!" Like thought he did it on purpose, but
Yeah.
none of the first team guys knew that Aaron did that.
And then Messi bleached his hair like 2 days later. Everyone thought he copied Messi.
Yeah, that was
The
great.
best.
Wow, what a prankster, dude. I wouldn't be too happy about that. Maybe I look good with bleach hair though, but
Just the tips maybe for you, Benny?
yeah, just the
Yeah,
tip.
bleach the tips like middle school.
Hey, I have a little tidbit on Aaron. I don't know. I'm sure Aaron has heard this before, but I actually heard it off of Walker when we had him on the show. Aaron is the only center back to have ever scored a brace in a game. Is that accurate?
That's
Maybe
what I heard.
defender. Defender or center back?
Yeah, and for the national team,
Yeah, yeah.
For the national team, correct. Yeah.
what I heard.
defender
Maybe
had
it was a
ever scored
defender.
2
I don't know
goals
if it was
in a
center
game.
back or defender.
Both
but
impressive either way.
very.
I think it was defender. Walker had told us.
I mean, think about it. There's been some like really good goal scoring defenders on the national team, even recently, like Bocanegra, Gooch, even Demerit. Dude, 2 goals. Never
I
been
was
done
just as
before.
surprised as you guys. Trust me. I don't know how.
One was
that
a
hadn't
chest
been done
trap, but you'll take it
yet. I'll take it.
with all that spin. Is that what it was?
Pectoralis major. It's just a little tapping,
So there's been a ton of talk about you having a ton of interest overseas. So my question to you is,
Here we go.
When are
Was
you
waiting
going?
for this one, Sal?
when are you going to England?
I don't know, man. I have no idea when I'm going, where I'm going, if I'm going at all.
Okay.
All I know is that offers have came in and have got rejected right now from Red Bulls. So
Okay. And obviously your ambitions are to always take your game to the next level. So is that something obviously you want to do at some
Yeah,
point?
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I obviously it's a Prem team that made an offer, and I'm sure the same is for you guys. I mean, what a dream it would be to play in that league. And I mean, we've all watched them since I was young. I've been watching them.
Don't,
So, yeah,
Ike. Don't.
It would be a dream for sure.
No. Benny played in that league, and it didn't go so.
It
well
was
for Benny.
It was a dream, a nightmare.
It
I
was
would
an
call it.
actual dream.
I would call it a nightmare. I was gonna ask you, Aaron. Out of all the leagues in Europe, obviously England, Germany's, I think, has
A
been
good
really
fitting league.
One of the top
Yeah.
leagues in the last like 10, 15 years. There's Italy. I mean, you can Spain. if you had to pick one, what would be your league of choice? I guess.
Yeah, probably England,
Yeah.
to be honest. Yeah.
I
I feel like I've watched that more as a kid than any other league.
And do you have a favorite team there or no?
Growing up in California, I played for Arsenal in Rancho Cucamonga, so Arsenal fan.
So you're an Arsenal. I was gonna say what I was gonna say about Arsenal is I played against Arsenal a few times with Irvine Strikers. And did you play down an age group like they always?
He was
had?
in the he was at the Temecula Arsenal. That didn't even exist when.
Well, either
when we
way,
played.
whatever the Arsenal team was that we played against, they always had like 20-year-olds playing for the U16s.
No.
Was that not? No, they always said
Different-
no as well.
different
about,
Arsenal.
They were the best for sure. I can understand how you'd think that.
Oh man! All right. Well, so you're an Arsenal fan. They were just playing today. I think they were tying 2-2 against Madrid. So
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, hopefully. I don't know if it's going to be this year, but I undoubtedly believe that you'll make the jump at some point to Europe. Hopefully, it's to England, like you hope for, and you can play against Arsenal or for them. But I think if you play against them, it'll be interesting playing against a team that you've like looked up to and watched so many years.
For sure. For sure.
Aaron, last question before we get to Ike's interrogation. So I had Chris Armas, and I knew him as an assistant coach. And, dude, best guy ever. I think all the players would agree to that. What's changed? I mean, they always do, but what's changed about him now as a head coach? Is he still close with all the players, or has he kind of distanced himself because you kind of have to do that as a head coach a little bit?
I thought he was going to do that as well, but Chris, man. He's such a player's
he's so
coach.
real. Yeah, he's a player's
he's so
coach.
real. I think the only thing that's changed maybe is that maybe him making the hard decisions maybe has affected his relationship with players. Not in a bad way, but now they know that it's a little bit different. You know, he's not just your friend; he's also your coach. Because back then he was in everyone's ear, giving him so much confidence. Hey, you're great. You're a great player. You're here for a reason. And now he has to sit them on the bench after telling them that. You know, so now it's those conversations go a little bit farther and a little bit more detail. So people kind of see both sides of him now. You know, like that he is your friend. He does believe in you, but he has a standard as well.
Yeah, he's the best.
He's the best,
guy.
huh?
I
The
love
best.
that guy. Yeah,
He's so nice.
yeah.
All right. Well, awesome. Great questions. Great answers. And now you're screwed because you're officially on the hot seat with Ike's interrogation. Good luck.
Bring it.
Really,
Ike.
I should say good luck, Aaron. Yeah, Ike's going to bring
Nah,
it.
don't bring it. Don't bring it too hard.
No. Oh, okay, I'll see what I can do.
How many questions do you have written down?
I've got, I don't know, 10. We won't ask 10.
It's 5 questions,
I've got
bro. Stop cheating
or
the game,
6.
Ike.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Would you like a lawyer present for this part, or are you good?
A what?
A lawyer. I'm coming in hot.
Oh no, I'm good.
All right. So you know the game. I ask you questions, and you get to plead the fifth for one of the questions. If you choose not to answer, you will join Charlie Davies as the only person to not have answered. So we talked a lot about, just recently actually about, your ambitions abroad. In 6 months from now, do you hope to be at Red Bull or the rumored destination of Lyon or West Ham?
Wait a second. Hold
In
on.
6 months.
I know the
Okay.
question. If I could only plead the fifth to one question, I want to know all 5 up front.
Right.
No.
So I know
the
which question I'm
game.
going to plead the fifth to.
That's the tricky part.
Can I not know all 5 up front?
I'll let you maybe come back to it if you don't want to answer it.
No, I think I would rather be abroad, taking my game to the next level.
You're not gonna
I
answer
think that's a
with?
good answer, dude.
Good answer. We're on Family Feud. Good answer.
Good answer, everybody.
Well,
High fives, Connor.
it was 3 teams, and he didn't choose the team. He just said, literally, a destination.
Yeah, because
Dude, you're playing games on your side. I'm playing games on my side. Next question.
there's probably 10 teams interested. Who knows, Ike, where he's gonna end up.
That's full. That's true. All right. I'll take it to a lighter question. As a center back in this league, who was your underrated forward to play against? We all know the big hitters and that, blah blah blah. But we all know that there's always
Underrated
one
forward.
that you admire, and you're like, okay, I respect him. This game.
I feel like I know who he's gonna say, But go
No
on.
chance, because I don't even know what I'm gonna say.
I feel like you made a you made a bet with Sasha on this player that he would score over under 10 goals in a year.
Oh yeah. But I mean, I do respect him, but he hasn't been putting up big numbers.
No, he hasn't.
But it was Urruti when I was at Seattle, or when I was at Seattle. Sorry, when I was at Portland, Urruti was dangerous, man, in training. He shoots from everywhere. He was good, but underrated forward.
While you think mine is Danny Houston.
Dude,
And-
Danny
and-
Danny
don't
Houston
play- I
should
don't play
not
him
be
often.
underrated though.
Well, but he's behind Wando, so that's a
And
different. that's
and say him by his real name, Mike.
Cristiano Houston. he reminds me of him so much. Mannerisms, like play, hair, all of it.
You know
Guys-
who I like? I like the new forward from Minnesota.
The big guy?
Toy. Mason.
Big guy.
Or
Mason.
Angelo.
Oh,
which
Toy.
I don't know.
Wait, you don't know his name?
He's good.
The black guy or the Latino guy?
Well,
light skin?
they're both kind of light skinned.
That
A
doesn't
mix
help.
of both of
Well,
them.
one's literally American and one is Colombian.
The really big,
The fourth.
strong dude?
Yeah, really big, strong guy.
Angelo
He's
Rodriguez.
bald?
Yeah,
So Angelo Rodriguez.
Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Respect.
All right. Give a little shout out to the Loons. Respect. All right. Cool. Well, we'll take it to a fan question. This is pretty easy. What is your pregame ritual for either whatever U.S. or Red Bull? If you have one.
It's different if I'm home or away. When I have a home game, it's I go to the diner, the same diner. I order the same thing every time. It's like 2 eggs, Taylor ham, and hash browns. I come home, I take a nap, and then I eat pasta with cheese and oil, and then I go to the game. So that's if I'm at home. Away, I just try to take a nap at some point during the day, and then just pasta with chicken.
Do you not
my
nap
pregame
on
meal.
home games?
I do.
Oh, you do. Okay.
Yeah, I think I said that.
Nap's always a.
Yeah.
I like
Must
to
for
take a
game
nap,
days.
even if you don't sleep, just to
Right.
close your eyes and try to
Yeah.
get a little bit of rest.
For sure. Okay. You're starting a franchise. You're the GM, and you get to pick between these coaches: Jesse Marsh, Chris Armas, and Greg Berhalter. Who are you hiring?
He's gonna rub his eyeball out.
How many questions have I answered? I've answered 3.
That was 3.
Yeah.
That was 3. So this is
I'm
4.
gonna pass that one.
Dang.
I might come back to it though, depending on what the fifth is.
Well, now that you plead the 5th, okay, I'm gonna change it up and go South. You know Aaron really well. Should I go lighthearted or should I go heavy?
Hard, heavier
Hard,
than heavy.
Poor guy.
Thanks, Sal.
I feel bad because the center backs we gotta stick together. But you did steal my trophy, so I'm gonna come back with a hard one. All right, center back pairings from first to worst. So it's not really the worst, but between you and Walker, you and Tim Parker, and you and Amro Tarek.
First to worst, huh? I gotta go. Oh, that's tough.
This is terrible. 2 of them are on his team.
How about you go?
I know.
How about you go
I'd go-
from like good to the best?
I'd go. I'd
Left to
I'd
the
play the
worst.
fifth on.
first to worst makes it
I'd-
sound really extreme, and I feel
Yeah.
bad for that, but it's really just one.
I'm
to
gonna
fifth.
I would plead the fifth on this one and
Let's
go
be
answer
honest,
the.
they're all good center
the
backs.
coach one?
So, I mean,
plead the 5th on this one, and I'm gonna go back.
Okay,
back
tracing
then.
his steps.
okay, who
It's
you
gotta
hiring?
be that. All right, you gotta give me a little bit more information. What's the team? What's the
You-
layout?
you-
What's the structure?
You're the GM. You decide whatever it is that you want to build. So
It's a
an
brand
MLS
brand new team, dude. Brand new
You can
team.
go from aesthetically pleasing to more pressing.
Here,
which I
here.
think
I'll,
still has its.
I'll make it even. I'll make it even more realistic. It's gonna be the Rancho Cucamonga Blast. They just got. It's the 39th team in MLS.
all in the 15th in California.
I'm gonna go with Jesse.
Nice.
I think Jesse
that's
with a new team, there's going to be young guys involved. There's going to be new blood involved, and I think Jesse with young players is amazing. So
Yeah. I think he's. Yeah. To be honest, you can't go wrong with any of those three.
No.
Now I'm
You
thinking
can't.
about it. Yeah.
That's why I want to see. It depends on what style, which team he was going to take over, and all that stuff. But new team, yeah, I guess I take Jess.
Yeah, well, you can say goodbye to your last call up because Berhalter's definitely listening to this podcast.
Yeah. It's the BS podcast for a reason. I'm just talking BS out here.
Yeah, that's fair. Amen. So, congrats, you're off the hot seat.
Wait, he didn't answer. Oh, he did answer.
Yeah, he pled the
Okay,
fifth
yeah.
to the one. You're officially
Yeah,
off
you're
the
right.
hot seat. Good job. Great questions this time, Ike. You brought the heat this time.
I know, and I feel bad because I
I'm
feel
sweating
like
a little bit.
like there's a rivalry now. I feel like I just started one, and it's not meant to be that way. It was just
How about we do this? How about every guest, and I'm starting this now. If they answer all the questions, which he did,
right.
can
didn't. He pled the
ask
fifth to
you
one.
Yeah, he did. But
Dude, Sal is drunk.
Well, I'll also say after Nino called me out for saying my batting percentage is very low with the plead the fifth, I was like, okay, the next guest is getting it, and it just so happened to be you.
Hey, Aaron,
should
I
let the
think
guest ask one question to Ike.
Aaron, even
fair. I
with
like
pleading
that.
the fifth, I think you did an excellent job with your answers. I say that truthfully. Well
Thank
done.
you. Thanks, bro. But
All
I
right.
do get a question for Ike now.
I have
you
no
get
problem
one.
with that.
You can ask him anything you want.
Wow.
Who is the
Okay.
I like that.
worst starting center back in the league?
You gotta just pick one that you're gonna crush. Make sure there's a starting center back too.
wait,
You can't
wait,
go pick the
before-
27th guy.
Before we do that, if I even answer this question, it was if the guest ever answers all 5 questions, they get their answer. Ask me one.
Come on, Ike. Come on, Ike.
All right. I mean, if you don't want to, that's fine. Do I need to change it? Do I need to make it lighter?
No, I'm just trying to think right now. Oh gosh.
I'm trying to think right now because I'd have no problem answering this question if I
All right.
could.
How about this?
wait,
How about
you-
this
you're
one?
gonna
Ike?
say
How about
some-
this one? Who's your least favorite player in the league? Just leave it at that. Who do you
Oh.
just not like?
Oh God. There's
Can he
I got, like,
give you 5?
Yeah. Well, 2 of them are retired now. Oh God, it's up there, man. There's like we just played a couple recently. In Salt Lake. I'm gonna stick with Blanco, man. This guy gets me for Portland. Something about him gets me. So, and we play him.
You know
twice
who?
in-
You know,
in 4
and I
days.
don't know this kid, but you know who just bugs me and just has a face that I just can't stand?
Punch face? Tell me.
Tinnerholm on NYCFC. Bro, that
Aaron's,
dude.
Aaron's gonna love that since New York is red. So
Every time, I swear, Aaron, every time you guys play him and he just like tries to get in these scuffles, I'm just
Yeah.
like, dude. Like,
So-
who
Him
is
and
this
Danny
guy?
Roy
He's
are-
always like,
yeah, he's
Have
got a little bit of that fake
fire
tough guy
fest
in
his
him.
face
time,
is just one you don't like to see.
Well,
Yeah.
little fake guy. Yeah, but then you got Kamar Lawrence, who's literally just out there. God, I would love to see a Kamar Lawrence Tinnerholm get down.
Yeah.
I mean, they go
I
against
mean,
each other the same side.
Kamar just times those tackles and people just hate it. But
Kamar's
it's
a
like
murderer,
he
man.
sprints and if he knows he's just gonna
Right.
get there, like how often do you see him miss those? Honestly, rarely. Maybe
Rare.
1 out of 100 he misses.
Rare.
Yeah.
I mean, he's never got a red for one, right? So it's a good track
Yeah.
record to start
There
with.
you go.
All right, do we have anything else for Mr. Aaron Long?
Please no.
Aaron, when you score a goal and you do this little like Red Bull thing, like is that a joke? Please tell me if it's a joke.
I knew you were gonna be the guy not to like that. If anyone was not gonna like that, it was gonna be you, Sal.
Well, I almost feel like you're just like you're joking around about it. Like it's a bit of a
Yeah.
like get the teammates to laugh kind of.
It was a little bit at first, and then the fans just loved it, and now it's kind of evolved. You know, now it's like fucking horns up. You know, for the boys, for the fans,
Yeah.
get them up.
Fair enough. Yeah.
All right, Aaron. We appreciate you coming on the show with us and answering the questions and doing really well in Ike's interrogation. We good luck the rest of the year. Good luck with the national team on your call-ups, and we'll be watching you, bro.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming, Aaron. It's been
course.
fun to watch you evolve as a player, man. Keep it
Thanks,
going.
bro. Much love, Sal.
awesome interview with Aaron Long, a good buddy of ours. Obviously, we got to play with you and some really awesome stories, and we're excited to see kind of what happens with this guy in the future because I think he's going to have a really bright career.
Yeah. Yeah, bit of a late bloomer, right? I mean, they don't happen too often, but he's 26 years old and he's kind of peaking. He's had a great 2 years with Red Bull, and so I'm excited to see where he goes. I think he's definitely got the potential to go play overseas and be successful.
It's crazy to me to see a guy that has this much success right now that almost got
almost fell
slipped
through the
cracks. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
I mean, Portland let him go, Seattle let him go.
Yeah.
And obviously, and with his conversations that he had with Jesse, Red Bull almost lost him as well. But
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
had
sometimes
faith
it's just about getting the opportunity, right? And having a coach believe in you and giving you the confidence. I think that's pretty much 2/3 of it, and the other is pretty much up to you at that point. So
Yeah. No, it's good to see him doing well, and I think he's going to continue to, blossom into an even better player.
Yeah.
So, and I actually like that last idea from Ike's interrogation. If somebody goes the whole 5 questions without pleading the 5th, they get 1 question to either Ike or I guess to one of us.
or us, I don't know.
No, you don't
I
like
think
that
Ike's
idea?
the one asking the question, so it needs to stick with him.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, great podcast. Thanks again, Aaron Long, for coming on the show. Again, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, DL or stream on TuneIn, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play. Continue to rate and comment and share on Instagram and Twitter, and email us your thoughts on Benny Sal, the podcast at gmail.com. And by the way, we had one question from a fan that we posed out there. I don't think Ike actually mentioned who it was. Hopefully we get some more of those types of questions in the future, and we appreciate all you fans out there participating in Ike's interrogation. Thanks again. Sal, time to go take a nap.
I'll leave this. Carlos Vela is still better than Zlatan at this time.
Wow, we forgot to talk about that game, by the way.
We did forget to talk about it, but Zlatan backed it up, man. He did.
I don't know what's crazier, the things that Zlatan says or the things he does after he says those things.
I know. It's like don't get me wrong, he's unbelievably talented, but it's like he tricks his mind into believing it, and then it actually happens. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's called confidence. This guy doesn't matter.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
All
been
right.
doing it his whole
Well,
career.
thanks for listening. Appreciate it, Sal. Let's go hang out with our kids now.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening.
When